Oh, it's been quite the day already, and we are just getting primed and ready for an historic game tonight. What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live. For those of you brand new to the brand, you found us at New Year's. You got a brand new SportsLine account. This is the brand you need to follow. It's the only one. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not even close. How about the bad beats today in college? USC, what? Illinois, what? But tonight it's all about the NFL. Historically, there has never been a bigger game than tonight. A combined 23 wins between the Bills and the Bengals, and so much on the line. So what do? Well, I need all my OGs. I need all my cappers. I need all my top flight talent. So we're going to go 6 wide tonight. That's right. Let's bring them in. The stars of the show. And look at this. Are you kidding me? An embarrassment of riches. Now, out of respect for the man that's been gone on assignment, ladies and gentlemen, live. He's been here since day freaking one. He is the maestro, Larry Hartstein. Welcome back. Quite the night for you.
There's no way I'd miss this show, miss this group. Let's do it.
All right. Now, next, he is live from Nashville, Tennessee, Sin City. He's everything fantasy, everything NFL betting, everything all the time. M Squared. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. Good evening, everybody. I can't see any of you as StreamYard is frozen on my end, but I can hear you. So we're going to keep rolling through it tonight. And I'm over here working on NBA anyway. So let's get into it.
Hey, like it. As long as he can hear us, we're all good. And by the way, Mikey, your eyes are closed. It looks like you're like meditating right now. So it's all good. It's all good. No. Next, he is the counselor of cash. Yes, Maestro, we have a new nickname for Sia since you were last here. He is the counselor of cash, Mr. Sia Najad. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I think most people, if they weren't thinking about it, they were thinking, oh, we're probably going to have this meaningless Monday night game. I don't even know who's playing. Nope. It's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. There's a lot to play for. Very excited about this game.
All right, and finally, he is one of, if not the greatest prop bettor in America today. And he's on our team, Prop Stars. Good evening, sir, from Parts Unknown.
Good evening, Coach. Gentlemen, look at this 5-man lineup, reminiscent of the 92 Dream Team. And we've got AB behind the sticks as well. Couldn't ask for a better group of talent, so I'm excited to break this game down.
AB on this. Who's this AB you speak of? I am familiar with the voice of God, however, who will be here tonight a little bit later on. He's here. This AB guy. All right. Now, before we get into our best bets, if you're brand new to the brand, we do best bets. We do props. We do the gym. We've got a donkey and a goose. And by the way, if you're a SportsLine member, you can now get said same game parlays way before the show. But you got to be a member. All right, Maestro, we need some details. We need some weather. We need some up-to-the-minute updates. Start us off.
Yeah, we're seeing the total tick up. I'm seeing 50.5 at Caesars right now. And the weather, which was showing a better than 50% chance of rain earlier, now you're looking at 0% to start the game. And then it only increases to about 20% by the fourth quarter. So the weather looks great. Big news on the inactives that has to make Buffalo fans feel great. Jordan Poyer's in the lineup. You know what that means? They're 11-0 with him in the lineup this season. They've won 15 straight with their all-pro safety back there patrolling the deep area of the field. And on the other side, the Bengals will not have their number one pass rusher in terms of sacks, 6.5 sacks. Sam Hubbard is out for this game. Hayden Hurst does come back for the Bengals, which is helpful, but you have to like it if you're a Buffalo backer.
Oh, man. Tonight, and the Bills very much alive for the number one seed, a half game back of the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Bengals are in line for a high playoff spot as well. So both teams have got to be all out tonight. So we're going to start with our best bets right here, right now. Mikey, we can see you. You are moving all of the sudden. There is a reason for the flow of these picks here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And Mikey, let's start with you. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, I am all over the Buffalo Bills tonight. Love this spot for him. However, where I played it is no longer available, really. I played it at -122, -1, and -1.5 this morning. The best you can get, which is available on DraftKings right now, is -1.5 at -125. I still prefer that to paying the -150 almost in some spots on the money line. So that's where I'd like to lay it. If you are comfortable with the 2.5 yourself, I don't mind it. I lean into it there. I don't like the -115 on the 2.5 in some places, but if you're getting -110, I think it's okay in that spot. I've got several tickets across everything here on the Bills. But as far as this game goes, Larry just touched on some of the injuries. Obviously, it went one way for Buffalo. Great having Poyer in. Went the other way for the Bengals. Not great. Also want to talk about Collins. We're all going to talk about Collins. We've heard about the offensive line struggles. That's where I really think that the Cincinnati team is most vulnerable, is that offensive line protecting Joe Burrow. What he does is they handle the blitz relatively well, and they're able to pick you apart like that. This Buffalo team doesn't have to blitz a ton to be effective. That's where I think it's going to create some issues for Joe Burrow if they're able to sit back and not necessarily have to send the house to blitz and put pressure on him. I think they're going to get pressure on him with a relatively modest effort here in that spot. So I love this spot here for the Bills. I make them the best team in the NFL by a pretty meaningful margin. It's moved back and forth over the last 5 weeks, but at this point in the season, I make them 2.5 points better than any other team in the NFL, which is a pretty considerable. I didn't think we would have that big of a gap at this point in the season. I thought it'd be about 1 point at most. But yeah, this night.
There's a lot of people watching right now that are brand new. They're like, how can he tell if it's one? Trust me, my experts are the experts for a reason. Now, full disclosure, full transparency, the latest primetime games, Mikey has been nailing them game after game after game after game. Even for those of us who may disagree, because here at the brand, we don't talk to each other. We don't want to influence each other's picks, but it doesn't mean we're always on the same side. So see you, Najat. Let me come to you, sir, because there's somebody in the chat that said Bengals are going to win by 21. I'm betting 45 large. Well, good luck to that bettor, and he better follow what you're doing. But why do you disagree with Mikey?
Well, first, let me preface this by saying I don't like to be on the wrong side of Mike McClure on a primetime game. With that said, Mike mentioned spots. I actually think this is a really good spot for Cincinnati. Now, I got the line at +2.5. That's where it sits right now. And I think it obviously ticked up. That's Sam. I expected Jordan Poyer to play, but the Hubbard news is pretty big news, and that's certainly a detriment to the Bengals. As far as the right tackle position, La'el Collins, yeah, that's something I factored into this analysis. But this is one of those situations where I think the Bills just haven't been as efficient as we're accustomed to seeing the Bills being, particularly Josh Allen. If you look at his completion percentage, he's just been really kind of off. And this dates back to the beginning of the season when he allegedly injured his elbow. I still think there are some issues going on there, and it shows with the completion percentage. But more importantly, I think with the full complement of receivers that Joe Burrow has, it's an important game for Cincinnati as well. You're getting 2.5 points. And by the way, Cincinnati has a very stout run defense. I think they can make Josh Allen one-dimensional. And a one-dimensional Josh Allen lately hasn't been super efficient. So I'm going to take the home team with the full complement of receivers +2.5.
All right. So you mentioned Josh Allen, and you do like something for him, though, and maybe you already gave it out. I was looking at the chat. Did you give out Josh Allen already?
No, good point. Josh Allen pass attempts over 34.5. Again, this is a very tough run defense for Cincinnati. I think even in a neutral game script, I think Josh Allen is going to have to pass. I think it could potentially be a negative game script for Josh Allen, making him have to pass more. If you look at the competitive games, now I will mention Josh Allen hasn't hit this pass attempt total in 3 of the last 4 games, but most of those games have had a lack of competitiveness. When you look at the games where they have been competitive in terms of the games themselves, 40 attempts against Miami, 42 against Detroit, 43 against Minnesota. Those were games that had a back and forth that forced Josh Allen to throw a little bit. This is the same type of game script I'm expecting here. So I actually like Josh Allen over 34.5. The reason I'm going with the attempts versus the completions is I'm favoring basically – I don't want to play the efficiency game because Josh Allen hasn't been efficient. So I'm playing the volume game. It's something I did in week 13 with Mike White, and that hit as well. Inefficient quarterback, give me the volume instead of the completions.
Okay. Very, very good. Over 34.5 -120. Most definitely will be a competitive game. We'll see how many points are being scored. So we've never had this done before. We've never had 5 faces to do this. Can everybody just look up real quick, if you guys don't mind? Maestro, can you look up? This may be offensive to Maestro, but voice of God. Are you there?
Well, let me say this. It took 2 weeks to get Maestro out of the club. He'll be fine.
What do you like tonight, big boy?
All right, so we've got 2 plays here. All right, we're going to keep it simple. All right, you remember when in like junior high you'd go to a school dance, right? And you kind of be a little nervous. You don't know, like, hey, you're not going to jump right in and like dance with like the girl you have a crush on, but you take a little time and then you get going. Where I'm going with that is this. We're playing both team totals second half. All right. We might have a little bit of a, awkward first half here. We're going to take the Bills minus 13.5. We're going to take the Bengals minus 12.5. We're getting them both under 14. We're getting the Bengals under 13, which is going to help there. So, yeah, play those two.
All of a sudden, Alex was like shaking his head, real like we were describing that. Yeah, he remembers. He remembers that 7th grade dance and all the boys on the one wall, all the girls on the other wall. I remember. All right, so we've got team totals for second half as well. And now the maestro, who hasn't been able to get out a live pick on the show for a couple of weeks, but good night to come back. What props do you like tonight, Mr. Larry Hartstein?
Well, I'm going with a couple of plays, big-time guys, Stephon Diggs. I mean, Josh Allen just keeps saying, I'm going to get the ball to Stephon Diggs. He said it right after the game when they beat the Bears, and Diggs only had 2 targets. And then he said it later this week. They're going to force feed Stephon Diggs tonight. I love him over 5.5 catches. I'm not going to play it over 150. I know some people said it's up to 170 in some of their books, but I just love this play because I think it's very tough to run on Cincinnati. So especially with DJ Reader back, that means more pass attempts, more Stephon Diggs. And then Jamar Chase over 82.5. This has to just do with how great he is when he's healthy, how great he is at home, and how bad, or not bad, but Tre'Davious White is not the same guy that he was pre-injury. He's not a shutdown corner right now. Number 1 receivers have gone off. I think Jamar Chase does it tonight.
I do too. By the way, the speculator is on your side. He's playing Jamar Chase over 5.5 catches tonight as well. So we got catches and we have yards. But out. Do you have something else, Maestro, real quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I was not aware that that is Sia's new nickname because I need to update that because today he made his debut on the site, on SportsLine itself. You can read his write-up on this game. His expert page has finally launched, and he will be the counselor of cash.
Oh, man, if I read that on SportsLine, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to absolutely lose it. Now, this man is about to lose it because I've made him wait all the way to now to give out his best bet tonight. And I was a little bit surprised, Alex, to be honest with you, with what you came up with in the lab. Talk to me.
Yeah, we've got Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdown passes. Coach actually gave this play out on our Friday prop extravaganza stream. It was sitting between minus 125, minus 130 odds at the time. It's since kicked up between minus 160 and minus 175. Unfortunately, I would lay off at that juice, but hopefully you got this prop in on Friday. Love this spot for Josh Allen. Also like Sia's bet as well. I think he's going to have an uptick in passing volume. Something interesting has happened over the last 3 or 4 games. Sia alluded to this. The Bills have run a lot of heavy formation, and they've really run the football a lot. I think that was both a combination of inclement weather coupled with weaker opposition. Neither of those should be a factor tonight against a Bengals team that should really push the Bills into an up-tempo type of game and a shootout. We've got a 51-point total, clear weather conditions for the most part, hopefully, and I think Josh Allen's going to air the ball out a ton, so love Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdown passes.
You know what Chewy loves? Chewy loves the GG All-In shirt, Alex. He does. Speaking of Josh says, why the hell is this the first time I watched live? I don't know, Josh, but you can be here every single day. We're live 7 days a week, multiple shows a day. Come and join us. The water's warm. Now, those are all of our best bets, but there's so many, as Alex likes to say, mouths to feed tonight that could have a trickle-down effect when the other big-time guys play well. Now, we've already talked about Stephon Diggs and Jamar Chase, but Alex, let me start with you, and then we'll go around. Just put your hands up. Let's keep it moving because we got Higgins and we got Boyd. And I'm talking 5.5, 3.5, 69.5, 35.5. That's kind of the 3-headed monster for Cincinnati that we always talk about. Who's going to be the other guy tonight that Chase could help?
He's certainly been a T. Higgins. He's an alpha number 1 wide receiver, similar to Jamar Chase. He really benefits from all the attention that Chase commands. Chase is the number 1 double team player in the NFL, not only this year, but last year as well. So when opposing defensive coordinators are game planning against the Bengals, their first and foremost priority is to take away Jamar Chase, and he still goes off despite that. So T. Higgins is going to have a lot of advantageous matchups as a result. So I really like T. Higgins in this spot. I expect Burrow to lean heavily on both Chase and Higgins. Boyd's been kind of an afterthought in the offense recently. I'm staying away from his props.
Okay, very, very good. See it. Chat question. How about Allen at 35.5? I'm guessing that's – are you okay with that?
Pass attempts. Yeah, I'm okay with that. 36.5 would be too much, but 35.5 I'm okay with.
All right, very good. Maestro, let me come to you. And then, Mikey, I got one for you. On the other side, when you're talking about the Chiefs, Gabriel Davis, Singletary, McKenzie, Stephon Diggs, that's the reason some of these numbers are not too high. But when you did your handicapping and you gave out Stephon Diggs, was there another player you said, you know what? That guy could have a big game tonight? Oh, no! Oh, no!
Look, I am such a rookie at these night streams.
Wow.
Was doing a little research and didn't want to mess up the flow. But, yep, I will pay it. I will pay up, AB. No problem.
$5 fine, baby. $5
you got it.
fine.
You
All right,
got
go
it.
ahead.
I lost my train of thought, but there is an under the radar guy on the
Yes.
Bills that I absolutely love, and I'm going to talk about him later in the touchdown segment. But yeah, this tree it's different than the Bengals. I mean, Alex talked about it. Those are two number ones that they have. This is a totally different tree where Davis and those guys are not nearly on the level that Stephon Diggs is.
All right, quickly, Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to hit on Dawson Knox. He's really kind of emerged as Josh Allen's second option behind Stephon Diggs. Really, he's been his first option because Stephon Diggs really hasn't made a big impact over the last 3 games. Really like Dawson Knox again in this spot. We've been riding him a lot recently as well. His yardage is 37.5. He has elite route participation. He runs around on every single Josh Allen drop back, and it's one of the highest volume passing attacks in the league. He's really asserted himself and become one of his primary targets. So like Dawson Knox quite a bit as far as other Bills pass catchers go.
Would you like volume or you like yardage?
I like both.
Okay. All right, very good. Mikey, let me come to you because if the Bills are going to play well tonight, they've got to take some of the pressure off of Josh Allen. And there are 2 names now that they've been relying on later into the season, which has brought some of the numbers down. And you know what I'm talking about, Devin Singletary and James Cook. Your thought on those 2 guys for the Bills tonight?
I'm not fading either one of them, but I'm definitely not playing either one. I think it's tough to run against Cincinnati. The ball is going to be in Josh Allen's hand. He's going to run himself, but he's going to be a lot of pass attempts here. So I personally am not attacking either one of them. I think James Cook is significantly more talented of a player than Devin Singletary. As far as whether or not he'll get more of the work, I don't think that happens unless they fall into a trailing game script, because I think he's very good catching passes out of the backfield. So that's where I would lean, but it depends on which side of the game you lean on. The other Bills player that I'm most interested in after Stephon Diggs is Isaiah McKenzie in this game. His number is incredibly low, down to 25.5. I like attacking him through his longest reception prop, though, which is currently 14.5 yards. I think it's very, very gettable in this game. He's going to certainly be out there at times if we're talking neutral or trailing game script at all for flow offense, especially if they're having issues running the football. I like Isaiah McKenzie here. I think he could pop for a pretty big game because if the ball is going to Stephon Diggs early and often, like Josh Allen says, that's not going to be there later in the game for him because Diggs is likely torching them early. I like Isaiah McKenzie quite a bit tonight.
Right now, he's at 13.5 is the number I have for the longest reception. So it's right there where you were talking about. See, let me come to you because I was kicking myself yesterday because I didn't blindly play Justin Fields again with his rushing prop, and he went over it in the first quarter. Now, Josh Allen has also been good with his leg, but every week you don't know what to expect. His number is 48.5 on the ground today. Is this a game where he's going to have to win it with his arm? And perhaps this is one of those 3 carries, 12 yards for Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would lean to the under on Josh Allen's rushing yards. Really, all the rushing yards, I'd probably lean to the under. I think Josh Allen's going to have to trust his arm and try to have to trust his receivers, which, by the way, just to expand on what Mike McClure was talking about, I like Singletary's unders and James Cook's unders, if anything. I'm not betting them, but we're looking at Singletary around 50 to 60% of the snaps, and he's getting about 12 rushing attempts, whereas James Cook, we really don't know. It's so speculative. It could be 4 rushing attempts. It could be 11 rushing attempts if you look over the last 3 or 4 games. So when it comes to all the rushers, including Josh Allen, I think I would lean to the under, and that 48.5, it seems kind of high to me. I would definitely lean toward the under there.
All right. Very, very good. Now, I noticed in the chat, because you guys always handle business for us, that we are at least 200 away from getting the goose and getting the donkey. If you want the same game parlays to have fun, I need 500 likes. So please, if you haven't hit the like button yet, do that for me. Take the chat down, hit the like button, put it right back up, and keep on chatting amongst yourselves like you guys always do. Now, remarkably, Maestro, if I'd have told you 10 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, the Bengals are playing the Bills, you'd have been automatic over. Not necessarily the case, though, and we haven't even talked about the total. We haven't even hit on the total, which is at 50.5, because these two teams have figured out they just want to win and not necessarily score a lot. But could tonight be a low-key shootout?
I definitely think it can, and you have a key number here. You're still under 51 if you want to go over. I liked it more at 49.5 earlier in the day, but the weather is clearing up. You also have the fact that the Bengals have not really played a tough schedule of opposing offenses. This is another level, and they're missing their top sacker. So to me, it does scream to lean towards the over. You also have a ref who is an over ref, which I talked about today on the early edge at 10 a.m. He calls a lot of PIs, and he doesn't call offensive holding. So it gives guys more time to get downfield. So, yeah, I would lean over.
All right. Mikey, let's talk yardage total for quarterback, because this is one of the most popular bets out there. People love betting over yardage. Yesterday we hit, I can't remember which one we hit, but Jared Goff we hit. Josh Allen 259.5. Burrow is higher than that at 285.5. What do you think the night will be in the air for either quarterback?
Well, I am definitely not taking unders on either quarterback in the air tonight. I'll tell you, we talk about these numbers a lot, and I give them to you, and I'm like, yeah, we've got, 3 yards of edge potentially, or I'm 8 to 10 yards under. I have overs on both quarterbacks tonight. I have the Joe Burrow number up to 299. Again, I think they're going to be throwing the football quite a bit personally. And the Josh Allen number, I still have at 274. So I still have decent little numbers here on both of these guys. Not super often you see that. So what that should tell you is it's also probably a pretty good night to build yourself some same game parlays.
Okay, just like we will do, because I know we're going to get to 500. Alex, let me come to you. We're only going to do this for a couple more minutes because we've hit almost all of the big names, all the props, and not too many questions, because I think you guys really agree with my guys tonight. Tonight's about the stars showing up. So, Alex, let me ask you this. Of anybody else you want to talk about, any other angle you're looking at for the game before we head to the goose, the parlay, or the donkey, the gem, and reviewing our best bets, final discussions? Anything for you?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on Joe Mixon. He's really been inefficient pretty much all season long outside of a couple games. Bengals have also really struggled opening up running lanes for him. Bills are also a very stout run defense. This is reflected in his rushing line, which is around 50 yards, which is very low for a feature back and a high-powered explosive offense like the Bengals. So I'm not fading his number, but I do like his under for his longest rush of 13.5. I think that's a really savvy way to fade Joe Mixon. I think he's going to have a hard time busting off a big run against this defense.
All right. Awesome. See, what about you? Any other angle that I've missed that you would like to hit on?
Well, I think T. Higgins is a popular name for good reason. I know Alex brought him up on the front end of the show. I actually looked at his receiving yard prop early in the day. It's stabilized. It's 70.5. It's just a little too high for me. I actually think the over is coming in there. I think this is a big T. Higgins game, but 70.5 just feels a little bit too high for me. I was kind of hoping that might be in the 64.5, 65.5 range. So I think he's an interesting player to talk about outside of Jamar Chase in terms of the receivers. I mean, guys like Irwin are interesting as well, with Boyd only playing about 50% of the snaps since he's picked up this finger injury. So those are guys to speculate on, perhaps in DFS, but I like T. Higgins in this game quite a bit.
It's really hard to have a second guy over 70 when you already have one guy over 80. Then you're asking for 157 between the two. That's just really hard to ask. All right, Maestro. Anything, and you got a million angles, but anything you'd like to tell the audience before we move on in the show as far as props or any other angle that I've forgotten?
Yeah, well, one thing to mention is that even though everyone knows the Bengals' run defense is solid, especially since DJ Reader came back, they have been excellent stopping the run. But the Bills' run defense, which showed a lot of weakness in the middle part of the season, you remember Green Bay ran on them, the Jets ran on them, but they have actually stiffened, and they're now number 3 in DVOA against the run. And all I'm my point is not to go under on all the running backs, it's just to say I think both teams are going to be throwing a lot. I think we're going to have a lot of pass attempts in this game.
Oh, I do too. All right, Mikey, let me come to you because we started with you and it's all come full circle. You started with the Bills, and I want to know, are you in or are you out?
Oh, you know I'm always in. Always in.
AB, voice of God, hit the music.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Why? Why am I doing it to myself again? That's the question. Damn it. I want to go against the very best. I want to go against the greatest of all time. Just like when players played against Michael Jordan. That's who I want to be. I want to be Muggsy Bogues against Michael Jordan. Yes, Sia.
If I may, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, your showdown is against the spread. It's Bills Bengals, right? Or is it something else?
No, it's just straight money line.
But it's
I'm
Bills
taking his
Bengals.
bet. Yes, Bill. I have the Bengals. He has the Bills money line. We just got to care about who wins.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought I was getting points is all. I don't know. Maybe I could negotiate. Maybe my lawyer skills could come into play here.
We've got it. We have a minute or two. I'll watch this. Go.
The resident lawyer always looking for an angle.
Always looking for an angle, Alex. He's your boy. You guys are partners on
He is my
another
boy.
show.
He is my boy,
Oh,
but he is a lawyer too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Sia, what are you thinking? What do you think?
I was thinking, I want to be fair here. I got it at +2.5. Mikey got it at a much better number. Maybe 1.5.
Sia, let me jump in right there. This is the biggest Monday Night Football game of all time, and you want to negotiate for 1.5?
Yeah, I do.
I respect it, but come on, biggest game of all time. Just take it to win, baby boy. Just take it to win.
This is
And
not
you're
how
rolling with
lawyers
me.
negotiate.
I
would be
understand.
You got it at
terrible at the
+2.
negotiating table.
You can have 2. You can have +2.
He's
I'll
getting
take
2.
mine.
Whoa.
All right,
I
I'll
swear to
take it.
God, if it comes in at 1, I'm going to be hot. I am going to be hot. But all right, so Sia, you know what you got to do to make it official?
Let's play that funky music.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Oh, damn it. It just got a lot more fun. So 2 showdowns on the show, +2 for Sia and Mikey. And me and Mikey are going straight mano y mano. And by the way, a lot of you have been asking, we are very close to having officially, and I think it's already open, our brand new Early Edge Charity Bucket. When you have a good week, a good night, a good day, whatever, and you want to pay it forward, we're going to be giving a big old healthy check to St. Jude's at the end of the year. And if you win a showdown, you want to put it in there? Heck, I might take Mikey's money and put it into the charity bucket tonight. I don't know. He's like, nothing. I get nothing. He's like, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. All right. Damn it. That was fun. All right. He Top the Step says Buffalo covers. Sorry, coach. Well, they don't even have to cover. It's a money line bet. Of course they would cover if they win. All right. God, this is fun. All right. We've crossed the top of the hour. We are crossing the top of the hour. We've got 3 more important things to do. So are we at 500 likes yet?
Yep.
All right.
We are good to go.
We are good to go. So, in the greatest Monday Night Football game ever, we have not 1, but 2 same game parlays. And the first one from M Squared, we like to call it the donkey.
What better time to cash a donkey than when the bird is playing tonight? Joe out here. He is not featured in this parlay, by the way, but we're going +4,000 here if you use the boost. Bills +4.5 alternate spread. Bengals +11.5 alternate spread. Over 40.5 total points in the game. Josh Allen over 229.5 passing yards. Dawson Knox over 19.5. Isaiah McKenzie over 19.5. Jamar Chase over 69.5. Stephon Diggs over 59.5. And then finally, the touchdown scorers, Stephon Diggs and Jamar Chase, anytime touchdowns. Feel free to leave them off if you don't want to play the touchdown parts of them. +4,000 with the boost, +2,000 without.
Oh, it's tasty tonight. I can see that one cashing all over the place with a bunch of happy people. By the way, quick shout out to the young man that I beat in a showdown, John. He is out at a local hotel restaurant with his beautiful better half. And he said she's letting him listen to the show at dinner because she knows how much he loves the show. So he says, Coach, you got to give me a shout out. I said, you got to post a picture. He did. So I'm going to live up to my end of the bargain. Johnny, congratulations. keeping that relationship going. I love it. You're taking her out on a Monday Night Football night. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, John? All right, now, we heard the donkey. But as you can see, Goose is very, very tired. He's been in the lab all day long for this very special Goose. So, Alex, the floor is yours.
Let's go. We've got the Goose. There it is. Goose's entrance music. Best in the business. First up, we've got the Bills over 20 total points. We've got the Bengals to score at least 20 points. Joe Burrow to throw for at least 250 passing yards. Josh Allen to throw for 230 passing yards. Joe Mixon to rush for fewer than 75 rushing yards. Dawson Knox to have at least 20 receiving yards. Last but not least, Stephon Diggs at least 60 receiving yards. Put it all together without any boost, plus 370.
All right. So we've got a small goose and a bigger donkey. Play what you want. We don't force you to play anything. Just take the information and use it for what you will. All right. Oh, Johnny's in the chat. At dinner, he says, Coach Showdown, I'm on Mikey's side. Let's go, big boy. You know I'm good for receipts. He literally he's at dinner. He's at dinner. Gosh, I would be a fool not to take that, wouldn't I? I mean, the man is watching the show at dinner. All right, Johnny, I'm not going to hit the music twice, but Johnny, I'm in. And I've already got your Venmo because you already paid me once in the last week, so you're going to do it again. But I got a showdown with you. It's official. All right, now, we also like to predict who's going to score the first touchdown in the game. It's got to be plus 1,000 or higher. So, Alex, you've cashed 2 this year. So I want to know if you can cash 3. Who do you like tonight?
Yeah, I like Dawson Knox. I believe his odds are plus 1,500 on DraftKings presently. As I mentioned earlier, he's one of Josh Allen's. There's really been his primary target over the last 4 or 5 weeks. We've seen some really big games out of him. He runs a route on every single Josh Allen drop back as well, which is very valuable in itself. Josh Allen loves him in the red zone as well. Give me Dawson Knox.
All right, that's a really good one. A really, really good one. So up next, the next man, or is he truly a man who got into the club, is the voice of God. Who do you like tonight?
Yep, I was over here taking shots with Maestro the last couple of days, and he was hammering on Devin Singletary plus 1,000. That's your guy. Singletary is punching it in.
Very, very chalky. And how disrespectful of me. I apologize, Mikey. This was your thing. You get to go first. I just haven't seen you in a couple of days, so I apologize. Mikey, who do you like tonight?
We're going Josh Allen here. You can find it at plus 1,000, plus 1,100. I think he gets his 8th rushing touchdown of the season tonight to start this game. They've got the running backs out there. There's going to be a ton of attention paid to Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen runs one in. Plus 1,000, plus 1,100.
I think this is a great play. I really, really do. I think he's going to put the game on his shoulders, or at least try to. All right, now, up next. Oh, Mr. Hartstein. You have been in the club, very quietly been in the club. Very quietly been in the club. But you are, nevertheless, there. Who do you like tonight?
I'm going big. I'm going with Khalil Shakir. You can find him at 50-1 on some books. It's lower on others, in the 35 to 40 range. This guy, if you watch what happened last week against the Bears, Isaiah McKenzie played most of the snaps in the first half. And then Khalil Shakir, 5th rounder out of Boise State, 7 touchdowns last year, almost 1,200 yards, 6-foot slot receiver, played the majority of snaps in the second half. He ended up with more snaps than McKenzie. He did have a game this season with 3 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. That was the only other game where he played at least 45% of the snaps. It looks like he might play that amount of snaps tonight in a shootout, in a high-scoring game. I think this kid is worth a shot at that price.
Shakir. I can't seem to find him, Maestro. He's not at my book. All right. Now, I thought we were going to get through the entire football season being able to tease the Counselor of Cash for 17, 18 weeks. Alas, that did not happen because he cashed his ticket a couple of weeks ago, but he is not satisfied. He is greedy. Who do you like tonight, Sia?
Yeah, I'm going for 3 this year too. I like T. Higgins plus 1,000. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's healthy. He eats up any coverage, zone or man. And we know Jamar Chase is going to get a majority of the attention. I think Macaulay Culkin-Burrow is going to look for him in a soft spot in the zone for the first touchdown, and I think he is going to score it. By the way, it's an almost birthday narrative with T. Higgins, born January 18th, 1999, just a couple of weeks away. And oh, by the way, January 18th, 1999, it was a Monday, and we're on Monday Night Football. How does this not hit?
How do you even connect the two? You're like, in 3 weeks, he'll be 29 on the 29th of the month. I see what you did there. See ya. All right. Now, last night, the snake almost got in. Who was the first touchdown last night that almost –
Isaiah Likely.
Who was it?
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, snake almost had it. He almost had it, but alas, he did not have it. And tonight he loves Gabe Davis at plus 1,300, one of the really good wideouts for the Buffalo Bills. So there are 6 different choices to choose from for those at home. Again, a fun play, but it could cash, and we want it to cash. All right, here we go. By the way, bad things happening in the Utah game. Their starting quarterback went down. Penn State scored 21 straight. It's a blowout now. All right, now we only have about 10 minutes left. We've done the donkey. We've done the goose. We've done our gem. But we need to recap for those who came in at the top of the hour, our best bets. Let's make it about 20 to 30 seconds is all. Mike, you start with you. What do you like tonight?
Bills -1.5, -1, money line -2. Love it really at any number here. Must win game for them if they want home field advantage. I think they take advantage of the opportunity, put some pressure on Burrow. Great spot for the Bills.
And if you like that side, then you're going to back Mikey. On the other side is Sia Najat. Sia, why do you like the Bengals?
Yeah, I like Cincinnati plus 2.5. They do have some injuries, but they're getting healthy too. I love this receiver core against a secondary with the Bills that's really not that great. And speaking of not that great, I think Josh Allen is amazing, but he hasn't been that great lately. He's been very inefficient. And that's part of the reason I also like Josh Allen pass attempts over 34.5. I expect him to have to pass quite a bit. Efficiency doesn't matter. It's really about volume here. And in competitive games, he tends to pass the ball more than 34.5 times. So let's get the over there.
All right, very, very good. And then AB's on the Bills second half team total over 13.5, and the Bengals second half team total over 12.5. All right, Maestro, what do you like tonight?
I'm going with Stephon Diggs to bounce back after only getting 2 targets last week. They didn't have to throw against the Bears. They're going to have to throw a lot. And the Bengals missing their top corner and have given up a lot to number 1 receivers. On the other side, Jamar Chase over 82.5 receiving yards. He's gone over it in both home games since he returned. 4 of his last 6. He's the alpha. 39 targets the last 3 games. And again, the Bills are weakest in the secondary as well. That's the weak part of their defense, with Tre'Davious White not being the guy that he used to be.
All right, very, very good. Also, the speculator, he's on Jamar Chase over 6.5 catches, -120. We gave that out on Early Edge in 5 earlier today. All right, Alex, what do you like tonight?
Yeah, I like Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdown passes. He's eclipsed this in 10 of 16 games this year. Also, this is a great matchup, in my opinion. We've got a high total. We've got good weather. Bengals could certainly force the Bills into a pass-heavy game script as well. Love Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdown passes.
All right, leave him up there for a second, AB. Let everybody digest, and you will have some extra time to get those in tonight. The game does not start till approximately 8:30 Eastern time, so that the Rose Bowl can finish up on ESPN and ABC, I believe. All right, so we've done it all. But you know we like to end every one of our shows asking my guys, what's the most important thing they're looking for tonight? So maybe they can educate you a little more. You can start handicapping on your own. Mike, start us off.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what kind of pressure the Bills can put on Joe Burrow, if they have to send more blitzing or if they can sit back in coverage and make life a little more difficult for him. I think they sit back in coverage. I like the Bills. It's their opportunity to secure that number 1 seed, which they know is so important from previous years.
No doubt about it. That number 1 seed, so important. You get a bye and you get home field throughout the playoffs. Alex, talk to me.
I'm interested to see how Buffalo offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey decides to attack this Bengals team. We've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks, the Bills have used a lot of heavy personnel. They've been running the ball a lot more than they were earlier in the season. I think that was partly due to the weather, partly due to the opponent. I think against the Bengals, they're going to get back to being a really aggressive, pass-happy attack. So I'm curious to see how much they're going to be throwing on first down and what kind of personnel they're using early in the game.
I think I will too. It's going to see the flow, how the flow of the game is going to go. See ya. Talk to me.
Huge game with 3 different teams trying to secure the number 1 seed, including 2 of these teams. Bad news for the Bills. I think they lose. I think Kansas City might get that number 1 seed and have a bye. But good news for the Bills. Kansas City's not going to make the AFC Championship game. So Bills will ultimately get that home game that they won.
Shots fired.
Across the freaking bow. Damn. He took a shot at Mikey for tonight, took a shot at me and Mikey for the playoffs.
You're
That's
welcome.
my cousin.
AB,
That's my cousin.
AB, you are too much. Maestro, what do you like tonight?
The main angle I'm interested in is with Josh Allen throwing so many times tonight, like we all expect. Can he rein it in just enough? You know, early in the season, he was forcing it into coverage, being too aggressive, and that's where he got into a lot of trouble. Lately, he's been able to dial it back, but against Lou Anarumo, you really have to be careful because we saw what he did to Patrick Mahomes. We saw how he'll drop so many guys back, and can Josh Allen resist the urge, to keep going after the big play and just take what is there?
That remains to be seen. I want people to remember what happened just a year ago when the Bengals caught fire late in the season and then they were unbeatable heading to the Super Bowl. We're starting to see that same kind of Bengals team rear its ugly head, and we'll see if they can continue that against their toughest opponent of the entire year. I love it when we're opposite sides. I love it we can discuss games, but I also love it when we watch, and that's what we're getting ready to do. So with that being said, there's only one thing left to do. Happy New Year to all of you. 2023 is going to be our year, and it all starts right here tonight. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. M Squared, Maestro, Prop Stars, the Counselor of Cash, AB on the ones and the twos, the Snake always lurking in the background. I am the coach. Thank you all for a great 2022. Thank you all for taking the time to be with us so we can do this every single day. It does not go unnoticed. We freaking love it with every ounce of our beings. And we love being a part of the Early Edge. Good luck.